ask the panelists come here to sit here. Please stand up and once more welcome. Once more welcome. So can I ask you to start?
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine O'Farrell. I am one of the founders of a company called Inclusion, and we are working tirelessly trying to improve education in the UAE, just like you guys are. We've been very privileged to run a PLC for inclusion with Dr. Nelius and Dr. Hunada, with over 200 schools across Sharjah. So we're hoping that we can all have an impact.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Mohammed Shihab. I'm freshly graduated from HCT, and I hope that you enjoy the lesson today. Thank you.
My name is Kashf Hassan. I'm a student at Delhi Private School, Sharjah. Very excited. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Afnan Hassan. I'm also a student at DPS Sharjah, and I am also very excited to be here. Thank you.
Great.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Albi Heiser. I'm the principal of James Cambridge, literally just a stone's throw away. So it was wonderful for me to join you today. I want to tell you that you have made the right decision. It is the best job in the world to be a teacher, to make a difference in somebody else's life. I love my job. I love coming to school every day, and I hope that you will feel the same for the rest of your career. It is the best job in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. I would like to start with you, Mohammed, because you were in school, let's say 10 years ago, you were still at school, and then you completed your studies, you went to university, and now you have been worked about 2 years, something like that, you told me. So, yes, so please take a microphone and please let us know what were the skills and knowledge that you find most important as a young man now at work.
Actually, in the school, I think the most important skill that you learn from the school, when I were in the school, the teacher let me every time be the leader of the class. That's teach me how to be like I get skills in leadership and being reliable and something like that. And I think the most important subject is the English language, because the English language will help you a lot in the work and how to communicate with people, and it will make your life easy actually. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. How about when I think about you guys, so what do you think, in your opinion, what is most beneficial at the moment at school for you?
So personally, obviously school as a whole is a very beneficial thing. Everyone needs education to a certain level in their lives. Right now, apart from the everyday tips and advice that I get personally from my individual subject teachers, the counseling options that we have at school provide, they are a great resource to us. There's career counseling, emotional counseling, career counseling being as the name states, more of a serious thing on how our future to shape our future. And then emotional counseling on how we might feel about this future that we are trying to shape, and our out of school friends as well. So.
Wow. Would you like to?
So, as someone who's still in middle school, the most beneficial thing for us is honestly the experience, the stories that you can get out of people, teachers who share their experience, seniors who share their experience, because it not only sheds light on what is in store for you, but also really just improves the overall experience of education, your course as a learner. It's really helpful. Yeah. Tips, advice.
Yes. I would like to hear, thank you so much. I would like to hear how does a school leader, what do you think when you listen to these young people and also our next last generation person? Can I say so?
It makes me really happy to hear that you see things just beyond maths, English, and science, because many times we think as teachers that is our main job, to teach the subject that we are trained for. But actually, that is just a small part of our everyday responsibility. It's all the other things. I always say to my teachers when we do interviews, it doesn't matter for me from which university you graduated or even what was your final result. For me is, do you love my children? That is the most important part of a teacher's job. And the fact that you are thinking of teachers that gave you career counseling, emotional counseling, teachers that helped you with leadership skills, that showed me that the teachers you are thinking of loved you, wanted to make a difference in your life. So of course it's very important and academic results are very important, but it makes me so happy if I hear students who are still in school, students who have just come out of school, remember the extra things. And that is what I feel as teachers is our main job. Yes, we are there to teach maths, English and science, but actually we are forming young adults into beautiful young men and women. And that is our main job, to make a difference in those children's lives. Because we must remember, we see children for 7 hours, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours if they stay after school for ECAs. We see them actually more than their parents. So it is such an important job that we think about the extra things that we do for students to make a difference in their lives.
Thank you so much. How about, doesn't this resonate very well with the teacher who teaches students with special needs and takes care of inclusion and is experts in that?
Yes, of course. Inclusive education is probably one of the most important parts to ensure that we do nurture the whole child. Can anyone guess how many students there are in the UAE, K to 12, approximately? Any guesses? You're not far off, 1.1 million approximately.
Oh, really?
Does anyone know approximately, statistically, what percentage of those children should have identified special needs? 10 to 20, any other guesses? On the money, about 15%, about 15%. And we're not identifying enough of those students. We really aren't. And that's a huge area for development. And that's one that as new graduates, we need to be really, really mindful of and cognizant of. What are we looking at when we look at complex cases, and how can we really ensure that they fully access education? Because a child who can't access education, their well-being will suffer. They won't have that joyous experience that you spoke of. I also love the fact that you said it's about stories. I think teachers have to be really good storytellers, and that's where you connect with your kids. If you can make a story around their learning and connect them with their lives, that's a huge part of it as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I think this is, and that goes very hand in hand with also the needs of society, I think. That's very much that too. So I have a question to inclusion or special education teacher here. So these questions are made of our students. So one of the questions was that do you use certain resources or tools to engage and motivate students with special needs, and how do you measure their progress? So this probably we could have a course on that.
We could have a full course on that, yes.
Yes, but can you say something like tips or hints that any teacher could use in the classroom?
Absolutely. The number one thing is to look deeply. If you have children who are misbehaving in class, who are not engaging, very often there's an underlying cause. It's not poor behavior, it's not disengagement or disinterest. Very often it's something as simple as dyslexia or perhaps mild autism that we just haven't spotted. the best resource anyone can use is the internet. Google and research. One of my students is exhibiting XYZ, whatever symptoms. Just research it. You will find out a myriad of details about how you can identify students, because truly understanding your students is the best way to get the best out of them. And then in terms of tracking progress, that would take probably 3 weeks. But there are, of course, you have to track progress with the mainstream, but also you have to track progress from their individual starting points. So it's not just about academic success, it's about the progress that the child is making in their own stream.
Yes. Thank you. What do you teenagers, if I look at you, so what do you think of that? What you just
It's
heard?
actually quite spot on, because we have quite a few students I've seen, because our LSP classes are quite near to us. So oftentimes we're told you can go, you can meet them. It's actually quite right, because most of the students normally they're misbehaving, they don't engage in class, they don't respond. They feel like they're picked on by teachers, they complain about it. Most of them have a learning disability of very mild kind. And they're all really incredible people at heart. They're all very creative, very smart in other ways. So it's really nice to hear that.
Yes, even me, I have some really great friends who do show these symptoms and signs that I feel really sorry for sometimes. But they show such promise if cared and put in the right hands. If just the right hands take care of them, like you need and I'm so grateful to have these teachers. You need teachers who take care of their needs, and basically that.
As a student, do you think what kind of help can you give yourself to these people who probably need a little bit more time to go through everything? Or do you take this into account that you probably have someone with whom you study or make a group work or something like that that probably needs a little bit more time? Do you?
So as students, we normally don't see it. So when we're in groups with our friends, we consider all our classmates our friends. So when we're in groups with someone who doesn't engage as much in the activity, doesn't talk as much in the presentation, it's our automatic instinct to just delegate them with work. We give them a part of work. As hard as we can, we try to include them. So we don't really consider these as signs of problems. We just do whatever we can to include them, bring them in.
Yeah.
But if you have the knowledge of it, if you do realize it, then it would be good if you could point it out. Most of the time, we don't realize it. We just see them as
Yes.
classmates.
Which probably is good, isn't it? What do you think? Can you give that?
Question?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be worthwhile to educate the students in general about different needs so that everybody can understand different needs? Or do you think it should be the role of the teacher alone?
If as students, we know what the symptoms are, it's definitely a very good idea. Students should also learn about it. Because obviously if you see your friend, they're going through something, they're showing symptoms of a problem, and you can suggest it, you can bring it forth, you can help them in any way other as a classmate. It's a very satisfying feeling. It makes you feel good, and you know you did something in that person's life.
Yeah. Please, go ahead. All right. Okay. I would like to hear what do you think when you listen to this conversation of inclusion, did you, how was it when you were at school, let's say 10 years ago? Was it different then?
Actually, I know that the learning ways in UAE, it's like improving not year by year, it's day by day improving, And when I hear this, really, when I hear them talking like this, I feel really proud, like being part of this country, And wish for them the best luck, inshallah, in their lives. Thank you.
Yes, I wondered that maybe it has developed a lot. This side also, that taking care of people with special needs everywhere in the world, I believe, and probably here too. So I was just curious to know how was it when you were at school. So did you talk about these things?
Actually, I don't remember that we talk about these things.
Yeah, but maybe it's not that common that students talk about these things, as you said, in general.
Yes, maybe.
Okay, good. How is the school, in your opinion, how is it different now compared to what it was when you were at school, like 10 years ago?
I think now the school is better because they have like several technologies and strategies in learning, and they improve the learning way. And it's easy like to deliver the information for the student. It's easier than before. That's why.
Okay, good to know. How many years have you been in working as an educator?
I hope you're going to say, if I say, you think, oh, she's so young. 28 years I've been teaching. So now you must all say, wow, you look so young. That is what you should say.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, that is what I want. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Marcus.
But my question is that how is this? How has it changed, this discussion, or how has school changed during these years you have been here?
I definitely think it has changed a lot for the good. I have been in the UK for most of my teaching career, and I've been in the UAE for the past 10 years. I absolutely loved it here, and I think I agree with you. We feel so proud of the country and to be part of the UAE, and to, especially in SPIA. And it's not, Dr. Janine, just to give you a compliment, but it is so amazing to be part of SPIA. I think we are the best emirate when it comes to forward thinking of supporting our students, supporting our teachers, and moving education forward. So just for the past 4 years, I've been in Sharjah as a founding principal, and I can even see in the past 4 years how school has improved. And of course, we all had traumatic experiences during COVID, but I actually think that was also, in one sense, really good for education. I think we as educators realized we can do much more than what we thought we could do. Nalini and Sean would remember that day when we were told we're going to go online, and from tomorrow we have to teach online. Oh, that was the most daunting experience ever. We thought, oh my goodness, how are we going to teach children at home? They will not be listening, they will not be part of the lesson. How do we know that you are in class? We were so worried. Would you be in class? Would the children learn? And it was actually amazing, Dr. Marcus. The parents were amazing, they were so supportive. The students were amazing, they just turned on the computer and started to learn. The teachers were amazing because they changed their skills just like that. So I actually think the good things from COVID has taught us flexibility, resilience, it gave us new ideas about technology. I think it made teachers and students just so much aware of we can do whatever we need to do. It really gave us that. Education has given people opportunities to show their resilience and their adaptability.
Thank you. This is very important, I think. And also, when it comes to COVID, we know that it has had a strong effect on students. Also negative ones. We know that there are a lot of like students who still struggle with it, and I think it's quite interesting. And I talked with our students that in their school, when they become teachers, unless they are already, they will learn to know, or they will go to the classroom that is full of those students who kind of went through together with us the whole COVID process, which might be quite difficult. And if you are like 8 years old and 2 years goes on under these special circumstances, it has its effect. But as you said, there are also positive effects, we believe. But it's quite interesting topic, really. Yes, thank you. I would like to hear now, since we had a school leader who just spoke. So, if you were as a school leader for one day, what would you do?
I mean, that has quite an obvious answer. First thing I would do is make the whole day recess. No, but on a serious note, especially about talking about inclusion of special needs children and my friends and all that I have, there are a lot of people whose voices are not heard. Many people that I know that are too afraid to talk about their circumstances or their issues that they might be facing. So I would love having interactive sessions that every subject teacher could have, like a special period. Doesn't need to be all on the same day, but every subject teacher has, for example, a one period in the day where they just talk with the teacher, but they just talk with the students, maybe once a month or something like that, like how they've been doing, what are their plans for, what are they having for lunch. Just the most common and most conversational type of questions. May not just be about a square plus b square is equal to c square or something like that. It must be just something very nice. Maybe something like that. But there's a lot of other ways as well. I would love to implement so many things. So many ideas come to mind, but that's just an example.
Maybe you will become a school leader. We never know. We need these kinds of people, I believe. Also, what you just said, I think it has been we've been talking a lot about how important it is that we as teachers give a possibility to talk with our students, how they are doing, what they have gone through, and what has been the day like, and that teachers and other students really listen to their to this message, because after it is much easier to concentrate on the topic. And I believe that this is something that many students really feel that it's important. And especially now after COVID, when people realize that it was not so much possible, it has become more obvious that this is also something that we need. Yes. From the inclusion expert perspective, I believe that this is also something that you feel to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was back in a school as a principal, I would probably be really pushing for inclusion, not just for children who have special educational barriers, but also for those who are more able, to really advance our more able learners. Because often, as teachers, we get so caught up in delivering the curriculum, we don't take time to allow that space for really highly achieving children to advance and accelerate. So it's really important to remember that when you start out. Don't get caught up in the curriculum. Take time to talk to your students and take time to zone in on those learners who have different needs to the mainstream.
Yes. All right. Okay, let's look at the question list here. I'll ask Muhammad again this question, and now you are an adult now, but if you recall your times when you were at school, so what were the best moments that you still recall as a student?
Actually, my best moment, like in the school, when I graduated from high school, because it was like a disaster for me. I don't love the school at all, really.
Okay. Then you said something about the time when you went to play football, or it was like PE lessons or something like that. You said
the sport lesson, maybe you mean. Yes, I like that also. But when I graduated, it was really my best moment from high school.
But it's great. I think it's great when you complete something. Then it's great. You have to be able to be happy about it. I think it's
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a big achievement for me, really.
Yeah. How about you guys? The best moment so far?
The best moment at any day, any time, is compliments from a teacher. Compliments or praise, especially after. So we had an assignment recently, a very recent example. We had an assignment in English class, very difficult assignment, a lot of paragraphs, a lot of poems. So we went through a lot of weeks to finish it. And there was no better feeling than when a teacher holds up your assignment on the screen and says, "This one was written very well, take this as an example." That feeling of proud, you're like, I've achieved this, my teacher thinks that it's good. Compliments from a teacher are the best moment of the whole day.
Yes, I can imagine. How about you?
Well, I am in my last year of schooling. There is still that left to complete before I can give that answer, because that can very well change the best moment. But so far, the best moment, and I've talked about my friends twice already, meeting them every day, because once I graduate and once I leave, once I have more important things to do, once I become an adult, once all of us become adults, there'll be so many issues and so many problems, so many challenges to face. We rarely ever see each other again. So the convenience of being able to see them every day, even if I have to go and spend hours studying something that I like or don't like, the convenience of being able to see and do it with them, enjoy something together, enjoy these compliments together, that is just the most amazing feeling.
So we need other people, and this is, we can call this, for example, that it's one part of self-determination theory, where we feel that relatedness is something very, very important. We want to be part of something. We want to be part of the school community, and we want to be part of together with our friends. It's kind of our need, and it's very universal need, and it is needed not only among young people and children, but it's also everyone needs to be connected with someone. That's one of the most important things. And I'm not always sure if our school really promotes that all the time. It's more like that one-to-one individual, learning, and people just happen to be in the same classroom. But sometimes I see a lot of teaching where, if it's very teacher-centered, and there's not much collaboration between students, and then I feel that why are they in the same room if they don't collaborate with each other and construct knowledge together? That's something that we try to study here at SIA, so that our future teachers would be better able to use that need that students really normally have. I don't know how it is in your school. Do you kind of promote these things systematically? For example, what is your professional development like? What kind of professional training your teachers get out of these topics?
Specifically about that community feel and collaboration.
Yeah. Yes.
For us in our school, it is very, very important. Everything we do is based on our 4 values of kindness, integrity, honesty, and respect. So we want to call ourselves, and we do call ourselves, a values-driven school. And that is, for me, bringing those values home, helping students to feel part of the school. I want them to be proud to be a GCS student. I want them to be proud to be part of, we have houses. I want them to be proud to be part of the House of Respect. I want them to be proud of being in Miss Mirnalini's class. That belonging is extremely important for me. I want students to want to come to school. And I think that is a very, very important attribute of a good and outstanding teacher. The children must want to be with you because you make them feel that they belong and that they matter. So we take it very seriously in our school, all those opportunities for students to have that time with a teacher. We have well-being lessons in our school where it's a structured lesson, but where students can talk about their feelings, where students can talk about their own well-being and how to help themselves and talk about their mental health as well. We have after school extracurricular activities, again, for their own well-being, for them to want to be at school. It is always wonderful for me on a Thursday afternoon when the children go home and say, oh, I want to come back again. I want to come back. And that's what we want, isn't it? They must have that belonging of want to be in the school. So we take it, it's an active process of making people want to be part and have those activities that they feel they are part of the school.
Oh, all right. Great to hear. how do you like recognize those students who are lonely or who will somehow left alone, or maybe bullying is something that that I believe that many teachers nowadays recognize quite well. But in your opinion, what could be done?
I think it can be quite complex, and students, as you guys probably know, are very skilled at hiding or masking often when they're unhappy or when they're lonely. There are lots of incidences of a huge incline in self-harm and depression in middle school girls, particularly across the whole region. And it's almost a silent condition that is very, very hard to identify. So like you were saying, talking to your students, that's the most important thing, taking time to talk and connect to them, especially the ones who are a little bit quieter or those who are a little more reserved. Really take a moment and like you were saying, just ask them what they're having for lunch. Ask them what's happening at home. What are they doing outside of school? Do they have any hobbies? Things like that. And having that connection so that they can feel like they have a sense of belonging in your class or with you or somebody they can confide in. I think that's probably a really easy but highly effective method of addressing that.
Yeah. I just heard that in one school they just made a table or they named the table, big table, where everyone who needed to have a friend could go and sit, and there were some, tutor students, and then they were never alone. So that because it's sometimes very challenging if your best friend is absent that day, and then you hang around there and you don't know with whom you talk with, and then you feel alone. So it's kind of understandable that these structures might be helpful.
I wish we had those as adults.
Yes.
I asked a question.
Yes, I was actually. She always knows what I'm thinking. So my idea was that I would like to give a floor to our audience to make some questions now. Yes, please.
I have a teacher's voice, but I'll use the mic. I'm sorry, forgive me, the principal. Obi?
Yes.
Thank you. And for all the panel and anyone in the room, but specifically you. All the time we talk about bullying in schools, and I notice this. We talk to the students that are being bullied. We talk to their parents. What about the bully? Because I do know situations, and I would like to hear your thoughts specifically as a principal, but again, all of the panel and anyone in the room, I don't think anybody is born saying, I want to be a bully, and I don't think any parent says, let's raise a bully. I don't think that's the case. In my experience, and again, definitely want to hear yours, because you're on the front lines, is that a lot of times the bully doesn't realize they're a bully. And so, in my view, by immediately vilifying that kid, we do want this kid who's being bullied, we don't want them to be bullied anymore, but that student who's the bully, they need our help too. So I'd really like to hear your thoughts and the panel's thoughts and anyone in the room about how do we help the bully? Thank you.
You're absolutely right, Dr. Janine. That is just as important. Oh, lost my words there. As helping the child who has been the victim, so to say. So in our school, we work very hard with our counselors, our heads of year, our leaders, because I always say exactly as you say, there is a reason behind this. Why is this child doing this? Has this child many times maybe been bullied at home, or is it another sibling, or do they have some kind of a traumatic experience in their past that now make them do these things? And we must remember we work with children. They are not adults yet. They are not formed. We are responsible for forming them, helping them to be the best they can be. So in our school, we do a lot of support, counseling, working together, bringing those children together again, because what we always said, say in our school, is you're going to see that person again. I always say to the parents, I can't now, your child may never ever see that child again. Maybe they walk in the corridor, or maybe they're on the playground where they would see the person that hurt them. So we have to bring reconciliation, and we have to work together to find a solution. Because in our lives as adults, we know, and as you say, Catherine, we wish sometimes we have somebody to support us. We know even as adults, sometimes we go through things where somebody is not nice to us. So we have to train our children those life skills that they can use outside, but also make them aware of the consequences of if we are not nice to other people. So it is just as important, the bully and the victim. And I think, Dr. Janine, is also, people so easily use the word bully. Bully doesn't mean if somebody is, maybe upset because somebody else is doing something, now my child has been bullied. And we have to also educate our parents. Of course, we take any safeguarding issue very, very serious. But a bully is such a strong word. If somebody was rude, if somebody was nasty, if somebody was disrespectful, it doesn't make that person now a bully, isn't it? So it also, we have to train our parents to understand that we teach our children to be nice to each other, to be kind, to be respectful, but it comes from both sides.
Thank you. I think this is very important also, how we define words, and it might be very labeling. And sometimes I've been in situations where bullying has become like a term that has distracted the discussion. And that's why it's important that when we use these kind of words, we kind of make or use them in the way that we still can talk about these things and share what it was. And I think that actually description of behavior is much more important than label some behavior like it is. So because it depends on so much on the situation and so on. So thank you very much for the comment, and thank you very much for the great question. Would our inclusion expert like to add something? What came to your mind when you heard this answer?
I think what you're saying about the use of the terminology is really important, and perhaps as a school leader to identify the characteristics that you would like to see promoted and the characteristics that you would like to see demoted, would that be the word? To not see present, and really encourage kids that, okay, you can experience this in any given day. You might be angry, you might do something, but it's one characteristic of a overall spectrum, that it doesn't make you that person. It's very similar in inclusion. As a psychologist, we lose so much time and energy in debates about terminology. Like, look at autism, for example. It went from autism, Asperger's, on the spectrum. It's the same thing. It's a set of characteristic traits. If you know what it is, doesn't matter so much what the label is, as long as we can support the children who need it. And it's similar with bullying. I think that's a really valid point to make.
Thank you. So thank you very much.